for Fleet Week, New York City. Right behind you in uniform is IC2 John Peterson. He's here to help us out as well. You know that there is an armed security guard right over here in uniform camouflage. He is armed with a rifle. You cannot go beyond that point. If you need to, for some reason, go beyond that point, let me know and I'll be happy to escort you. But given the current world events, our security levels are heightened and we want to make sure that you're safe as well as our military. I believe we have one lost soul. I just got a call from the command center, which is at the other end of the pier, this same floor. So we're going to go find him and bring him back and marry him up for the party. We don't know how he got past security, but he did. It's heightened security.
Construction coming down here. Sorry. Watch your step, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Attention on deck!
Watch your step, sir.
USS Iwo Jima to today's celebration, the dedication of a Torah to the U.S. Sea Services. The Torah that will be lent will be dedicated to the Sea Services and eventually it will be housed on the USS George Washington. It's my privilege and pleasure now to introduce Captain Chassie, the commanding officer of the United States Iwo Jima.
Thank you to Mr. Janvey and Rabbi Miller of the Jewish Community Relations Council of New York, and Rabbi Robinson and the Torah for Troops program. A very special thank you, Judge Burton Zweibel, for order the Torahs be distributed, Ms. Michelle Stein, one of the donors for the repairs, and Mr. David Pollack, and all who have contributed in some way to the lending of this Torah. As commanding officer, as any commander, we are all responsible for ensuring the free exercise of religion for all members of our crew. The lending of this Torah will ensure our Jewish personnel can freely exercise their faith. Again, welcome to you all, and thank you for being part of this historic occasion. It is now my sincere pleasure to introduce and welcome Rabbi Harold Robinson, Rear Admiral, Chaplain Corps, U.S. Navy retired, and Director of the Jewish Welfare Board, which is an endorsing agent for the Jewish Ministry Professionals to the Department of Defense. Rabbi Robinson will say a few words about the Torah for Troops program. Rabbi?
Thank you.
Most everybody in this room knows the significance and role of the Torah, its symbolic importance to all Jews everywhere. It's an amazing thing how any environment where Jews are found changes from a tent or back end of a truck or the wardroom of a great ship suddenly into a synagogue, and reminder of home and of people and of history when a Torah is present. I've seen that transformation take place for our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines in 24 different time zones.
Commanded this, and there was a young kid who spoke Hebrew, who knew the Jewish community, and was holding these people criminally responsible for not protecting the law. So thank you, Judge Zweibel. Thank you, Lisa Rubin, his law clerk, and you're making our mitzvah possible today, or at least legal. And we wanted to thank all of the members of our board for all of the work that you've done over the year. And I just wanted to know, everyone to know that there's a plaque on the rollers that says, dedicated to the men and women of the USS George Washington Carrier Strike Group by the people of New York City. presented by the Jewish Community Relations Council of New York, the NYPD, and the District Attorney of New York. And 100 years from now, people will try to figure out what is the story behind it. Thank you.
Mr. Richard Janvey and Rabbi Michael Miller are now going to present the Torah to Rear Admiral Shalansky, who will receive the Torah on behalf of the sea services and of future congregations.
On behalf of the United States Navy and all the Jewish sailors on board our vessels out at sea all over the world, I accept this Torah and thank you for its dedication to them, their mission, and our nation. And now I'd like to take the Torah and give it to the JWB to ensure that it gets to the USS George Washington over in Japan. It's a real honor and a pleasure, obviously, to be here today to receive the Torah. As one of the Jewish sailors who sailed countless deployments around the world without one, I know what it is now to have one on our Navy vessels. And as a rabbi so nicely said, how much that means to the Jewish community and to those sailors that are underway into harm's way. And so just to give you a quick idea of what that Torah will be like and what it will go and what those services are like. It's going to be underway, so on a Navy vessel with high seas, so it's not going to be nice and steady like it is today. That deck may be rolling. It may be underneath a flight deck. We're launching flight operations 24 hours a day, and so during that service we'll be interrupted continuously by the sound of the catapults shooting those airplanes off the deck or the wires catching airplanes. It'll be underway and doing services in all sorts of places around the world, not just in Japan, but way out to the Western Pacific, down below Australia, all the way out and back probably to Hawaii and San Diego. It will be on board that ship for over 30 years, on loan to the United States Navy. The carriers will typically go for 50 years, the life of an aircraft carrier. On those ships, as the rabbi said, maybe 1%, but typically you have enough for a minyan every Friday and Saturday, and visiting Jews around the world. In fact, one of the carriers just pulled into France, the USS Harris Truman, which I had the honor of being the captain on years ago. And the Torah there was used not just by the sailors in the community, but it was a way to celebrate and connect with the Jewish communities around the world. And so they came on board and celebrated and read Torah right there on a naval vessel. And it's the same where we've seen all over the world. And so besides the mitzvah of having the Torah for the sailors themselves, it also acts as a connector to people in the United States, the people of New York, who I really thank you for the honor of bringing this to the Navy. But again, for neighbors and communities that connects us, Americans, with all of our brethren overseas also. And finally, I'd like to say that the United States Navy, recently we've come out with our new motto, America's Global Force for Good. What better symbol of good than the teachings and the goodness that comes with the Torah, to travel around and be part as a symbol of that mission that we carry out throughout the world. And thank you for allowing me to participate today. Appreciate it.
Mr. Admiral Shalansky has received the scroll now on behalf of the Sea Services and then charged Rabbi Robinson in his capacity as an endorsing agent to make sure that the scroll is delivered to the USS George Washington. So now I will ask if all of you would rise, and I invite Rabbi Robinson to give us a closing dedication prayer.
Eternal God, scroll of Torah sacred to us, the words you spoke at Sinai echo still. May they echo within our lives. May we reflect them day by day. May we always be those who live Torah, become Torah, keeping alive in the world knowledge and understanding of your creative presence, of your will for the perfection of the world under your unchallenged rule. Eternal God, we are thankful to those who participate day by day in this effort. We're thankful for the Jewish community of New York in this contribution. We're thankful for the men and women of the United States Navy. May they always make worthy use of this Torah scroll. Praise be thou, O eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who has indeed kept us alive, who has preserved us, and who has allowed us to celebrate this moment. May it be one of many moments celebrated, where this Torah brings strength, brings energy, brings recommitment to faith and to mitzvah to your people around the world. And let us say together, Amen.
This concludes our ceremony. We thank you so much for your
I'm Lieutenant Commander DJ Walton. I'm the Flag Secretary for Admiral Shalansky. And our average deployments are anywhere between 3 months and 8 or 9 months for the really long ones as the missions get extended. So,
and when were you notified about Osama bin Laden not around anymore?
actually heard it on the radio coming into work.
They wouldn't even, they don't
it
notify you?
was released on the news, and that's where we heard about it first for most of us.
Wow. And what was the reaction of all the sailors?
It was ecstatic. It's something we've been going for a while. It's a mission that we've devoted a lot of assets to, so it was nice to see it come to completion.